We're starting in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
We're on? We're on? Thanks, Tom. This just in. They stretch, they bend, they contract, they move in the dark when you're unaware. There's 3 types and they're not going away anytime soon.
That's right, Gabby. Smooth, skeletal, and cardiac all come together to make the big system. Our news crews go behind the scenes and further into our bodies under our undercover investigation, the one and only muscle system. Let's take a peek.
Here we are, our first point of discovery, the skeletal muscle system. Now, everyone has done some sort of physical activity in their lifetime, whether it be running, working out, or playing soccer. And here behind me, we have the lift weighting champs. And they're bending and flexing to show what they're made of. But what are they made of? I'm here to find out. Excuse me, miss. You know what those weights are doing for you at this moment?
I know they're giving me a hella ripped bod for this summer. You know how the winters be. All I know is I feel this bending and heat all up in my guns. Biceps, triceps, gains.
Sorry, I couldn't help to overhear. But what's actually happened is a lot more than you may expect. Just as one in labor experiences contractions of the uterus, the 5th largest muscle in the female body, so do our biceps and triceps. As you lift the weight up towards your body, your bicep contracts and your triceps relaxes. When you release or bend your arm away from your body, the exact opposite happens. Your bicep relaxes while your tricep contracts. Feel like you need a big breath after all this strenuous exercise? That's your diaphragm contracting to inhale and exhale. Here, let's take a closer look at the skeletal muscle so you have a better understanding of what I'm saying. When looking, you can see that it's made up of fibers that are cylindrical, multinucleated, and striated. These types of fibers are what make up the skeletal muscles that are attached to the skeleton, as well as the facial muscles attached to your skin. Something that is essential to the organization of the fibers, not only within the skeletal muscle, but as well as the other 2 types, cardiac and smooth, is the connective tissue that comes along with it. The fibers are surrounded by a thin layer of endomysium, which is a areolar connective tissue. This is how blood capillaries and nerve fibers reach each muscle fiber. Then each muscle fiber are grouped up into bundles called fascioles. Finally, you can see that the muscle itself is covered by a connective tissue layer called epimysium. From there, collagen fibers of the epimysium continue as a strong fibrous tendon that attaches the muscle to a bone.
Wow, that was a lot of helpful information. Could you help explain to me how the skeletal muscle contracts?
I sure can, Kaylin. First off, I'll start by saying that muscle fibers are innervated, which means that they are stimulated to contract by motor neurons whose axons are found in nerves. The axon of one motor neuron has several branches and can stimulate from a few to several muscle fibers of a particular muscle. Each branch of the axon ends in an axon terminal that lays in a close proximity to the sarcolemma. This region is called a neuromuscular junction and consists of the motor nerve axon and the muscle fibers it signals. Axon terminals contain vesicles that are filled with the neurotransmitter acetylcholine. When nerve signals are traveling down a motor neuron at an axon terminal, the synaptic vesicles release neurotransmitters into the synaptic cleft. The ACH diffuses across the cleft and binds to receptors on the sarcolemma. Now, the sarcolemma generates electrical signals that spread over it, and when the sarcolemma electrical signal is strong, the signal spreads down T-tubules to the sarcoplasmic reticulum, triggering calcium release. This release of a calcium causes filaments with the sacromeres to slide past one another. Sarcomere contraction results in myofibril contraction, the muscle fibers, and finally muscle contraction.
Today on Good Morning Anatomy, you learned that muscles are organs that contain nervous tissues, blood vessels, and connective tissue. The connective tissue is very important to the organization of fibers within the muscles. Each layer is surrounded by a thin layer of areolar connective tissue called the endomysium. Blood capillaries and their fibers reach each muscle by the way of the endomysium. Next, the muscle fibers are grouped into bundles called fascioles, which have a layer of connective tissue called the puromysium. Lastly, the muscle itself is covered by a connective tissue called the epimysium. The epimysium blends into the deep fascia, a layer of fibrous tissue that surrounds a set of muscles. The deep fascia separates muscles from one another and from the superficial fascia. Collagen fibers of the epimysium continues as a strong fibrous tendon that attaches muscles to the bone.
But how important are muscles, you may ask? Muscles are more important than you think. Not only do they support the body and make it move, but they also help maintain your body temperature. Skeletal muscle contractions cause ATP to break down, which releases heat. Muscles also assist in fluid movement. The pressure of the skeletal muscle contractions keep blood moving in a cardiovascular veins and lymphatic moving in the lymphatic vessels. Last but not least, muscles pad the bones and the internal organs.
Next at 11, what's really going on inside your head?
Tim has the scoop on all of that and more tonight at 11. And from your news crew, I'm Gabby.
I'm Kaylin.
No, I'm Kaylin.
And I'm Dr. Angie. That's our scoop. See you next time.
Tonight at 11. And from your news crew, I'm Gabby.
I'm Kaylin.
We have to redo that.
Why? Here we are, our first point. Can we restart? Deep fascia separates muscles from one another in Can we cut?
Something that is Sorry, I couldn't help to overhear. But actually, what's happening is fucking God, I can't read that. Sorry.
They move in the dark when you're unaware. There's 3 types and they aren't going anywhere anytime soon.
That's right, Gabby. Smooth, cardiac, and... I just messed up. We gotta stop. Hold on.
God damn it.
Very important to the organization of fibers within the muscles. Each layer is surrounded by a thin layer of areolar connective tissue. Stop recording me, Caitlin. I can see you from the corner of my eye.